believes in free and fair trade. We believe that the best way of ensuring prosperity for our workers and our country is to continue with free, fair and open trade. So we don't support the imposition of tariffs, whether they be on Australia or India. Since coming to this job just over 3 years ago, I have established a very good relationship with the Indian Trade Minister, Piyush Goyal. We talk regularly and we meet on many occasions around the world, and I consider him a friend. In fact, on his last visit to Australia, he came and visited my vineyard in the Clare Valley in South Australia. We continue to build strong relationships with the Indian government and the Indian people. Indians now represent a significant portion of our tourists, a significant proportion of our migrants, and importantly, a very significant portion of our students. And we continue to build a very strong relationship with the Indian community. Under the leadership of the Albanese government, we put through our first trade agreement with India in the last parliament. That's already showing very, very significant increases in two-way trade between our countries. But we can do more, and it's my objective in this term of the government to increase the trade between our two countries and to build those strong community relationships. And that's certainly the message I give to Minister Goyal, and it's certainly the message that we'll continue to give as we negotiate an extension of our trade agreement.
Just want to understand, thank you for your opening speech. I know the CECA is not being able to cross the finishing line because India wants access in critical minerals and investment through the Australian super funds. And Australia wants access in the wines market and also on the dairy products. Can you give us an update on what's happening on that?
Look, we had a full week of negotiation last week. We sent our top negotiator to New Delhi, Ravi, and I think we had a productive week of discussions. I had two Zoom calls with Minister Goyal, and we've been trying to talk again this week. I'm confident that the goodwill between ourselves and India, plus the current international circumstances where those countries that believe in free and fair trade need to expand their relationship, will result in another further extension of our agreement with India. So I'm very confident that the goodwill that's been shown so far, the determination on the part of both sides to get a fair agreement will result in a new agreement, and I'm looking forward to heading over to India to sign such agreement, or inviting Minister Goyal to come to Australia to do so.
Hello sir, I'm Vinaya from The Hindu from Mumbai. I wanted to know, there was a bit of a concern with respect to Adani's mining operations in Australia. What is the status with respect to that at present? And also, are there any challenges with respect to import of cotton to Australia from India? Thank you.
The government supports the Adani mine in Queensland. It has been a very successful mining operation, and to the best of my knowledge, I've not been aware of any difficulties with with that particular mine. As for cotton, I couldn't tell you the exact status of that particular product. I'm not aware that there's any difficulties, but I'll follow up and see if there are any outstanding issues, and I'll come back to you.
Sir, this is Kamalika from CNN News 18. My question is, since Australia does not believe in such tariffs, how Australia is dealing with the US tariff thing, and how Australia sees the recent tariff war that is going between India and US?
Yeah, look, we're a country that believes in free and fair trade. We believe that the best way of ensuring prosperity for our workers and our country is to continue with free, fair and open trade. So we don't support the imposition of tariffs, whether they be on Australia or India. Obviously your relationship with the United States is something for you to work through, but only this week I've met with officials of the United States government to make it clear that our view that the 10% tariff that they've imposed on Australia is not the right way to go, and that we will continue to push our argument that the American government should remove those tariffs.
Hi sir, Siddhant from Beyond. We saw the US President Donald Trump terming Indian economy as a dead economy. What's your sense? How do you see the Indian economy, the future of the Indian economy, and the investments that the Australians will be keen to do in India?
Look, Australia is keen to increase our investment in India. Like Australia, India is a thriving democracy, and we want to work with countries like India to boost our two-way trade and to boost our investment. When I first came into the job, I led a very high-level delegation of Australian business people to India to try and expand our trading relationship. We're continuing to do that. We see great opportunities in India. You're now the world's largest country by population, thanks to the policies of the current government. Living standards are very quickly improving, and my understanding is that by 2030 you'll have something in the vicinity of 900 million people in the middle class. What we know from all of our experience around the region is that as people's living standards increase, then of course their demand for high quality food and wine also increases, and we see fantastic opportunities for Australia, which has got a wonderful clean and green image in terms of its agricultural products, to provide much of the food and wine into India. But we do a two-way investment, so it's not just us providing food investment into India. We want to see more investment from Indian companies. Australia is often described as the lucky country, and in terms of the minerals, critical minerals and rare earths that are going to be needed to make the transition to net zero, then Australia is lucky again. We have the world's largest or second largest reserves of all of those critical minerals and rare earths. We want to share our good luck with the people of India. We want to meet your ambitions for net zero as well as our own. So we want to improve the supply chain between Australia and India so that you can be beneficiaries of this wonderful good luck that Australia has.
Good morning, Minister. I'm Umashankar Singh, independent journalist. My question to you is that India withdrew from RCEP in 2019, and that shows the India's concern about trade deficit with Australia. Though both countries have signed ECTA in 2022, India trade deficit concern remains. And how Australia can assure India for a level playing field, especially when CECA is still under negotiation for a year. So if you can tell us any deadline about that.
I'm always reluctant to set deadlines for trade agreements because they always take a little bit longer than you expect them to. What gives me great comfort is the determination of the Indian government and particularly Minister Goyal to reach a fresh agreement. So I'm confident that the relationship that we've built up with the Indian government and the need to demonstrate to the rest of the world that protectionism is not the way to improve the prosperity of your populations. It's free and fair trade that will get you to that point. So it'll take as long as it takes to get an agreement, and there won't be an agreement until everything is agreed. But I think from the Australian point of view, we've demonstrated our good faith in these negotiations, and I'm very pleased with the way in which the Indian officials have been engaging in this process. So I expect one day soon to be able to announce that we've done more work to extend our trade relationship, and that I think we're on the cusp of a golden era between our relationships between Australia and India. The personal relationships between the two Prime Minister, Albanese and Modi, is very, very good, very strong. The people-to-people relationships are getting stronger every day. As I said before, India represents a very, very significant portion of our migrants coming to this country. We welcome them. They're good citizens. They're very great participants in the democratic process. So I think all the pointers are heading in absolutely the right direction.
Thank you.
Mr. Minister, my name is Shubhajit Roy from the Indian Express. I want to ask, what are the kind of challenges that Australian companies faces in India, in the market? And also, Australia decided to export uranium to India a few years ago. If you could give us an update on that.
Yeah. Well, answering your second question first, I come from South Australia, and Olympic Dam is the world's largest uranium mine, and BHP have an ambition to double the size of that mine. There's some challenges there. South Australia is a very dry state, and we've been in drought for more than 18 months, although pleasingly looks like we're going to get about 40 mils of rain tomorrow, so that's a bit of good news. So yes, we have the opportunity to continue to supply uranium to those countries that meet all the relevant international obligations. What was your first question?
What are the kind of challenges?
Oh, the challenges, yeah. All right.
Any examples, if you mind sharing?
Look, I think the biggest challenge that Australian companies face when they go into India is that, like in Australia, you've got a federal structure and you can reach agreements as to how the federal structure might work. But then you have states, and the states have additional rules and regulations which you have to comply with. I think, from our point of view, and Hugh's just come back from Kolkata, where he's been working on ensuring Australian companies understand all of the rules that apply and can work through the system. You've got to be a bit persistent, I think. From an Australian company point of view, what I would say to them is you've got to be persistent. You can get advice about what the challenges are, but you're going to have to devote some resources into getting your foot in the door. Indians are tough negotiators, in my experience. and we have to show that we can comply with all your regulations. We can set up business there, and we can make a contribution to your economy, but also a profitable investment from our point of view. So my advice to companies is to come and talk to us. Austrade is expanding its operations in our region. We want to do more business. We want to diversify. We've discovered that if you put all your eggs in the one basket, then you can suffer damage if circumstances change. We see India as a wonderful opportunity. We've got all these links, particularly even in cricket. Every time I talk to Piyush Goyal, he's always talking about some recent victory the Indians have had on the cricket field. So look, there's so many ways in which we feel connected to the Indian community. But look, there are potential issues that we've got to navigate. But again, I say with goodwill,